Good evening and welcome to a live podcast. I'm Bob Pace. I'm here to fight CPS and stop taking our children. I welcome you all, a warmly welcome to you around the world. I am found on Facebook fighting CPS, and um, you found me here on the YouTube, and I'm using the SteamYard application. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm on from 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time to 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. And if you miss me in the morning, I'm in the afternoon. Also, my shows are pre recorded so you don't miss anything. Anyway, I'm here to fight what I call the Child Protection System, CPS. Now, that agency is an agency that was developed by social services and mandated by Congress to protect our children from neglect and abuse. All supposed to help out family in needs of food, clothing, shelter, um, education, transportation, medical, and get a job. And if they need to find the necessity to take away your children because of extreme danger, they have to do what's called family reunification. And family reunification is where they place the children back with the family. Now, it's been studies shown that biologically, the biological parents are the best parents suited for raising children, the biological parents. So, with that being said, one thing, I do have certain times that I'm on different times. Like on Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock because I have church. And so it's for, 2 hours earlier. So on Sunday, I'm on early. Sometimes Saturday, there's a podcast going on at my time. So I'll come on early. Also, with Friday Night Lights, high school football, the team that we're following with my son has a bye this weekend. So I should be at the regular time at 7 o'clock. What is going to happen is that the following week, I will come on at 4 o'clock, 2 hours early, so I can go to the football game. I'll let you know the different times and so forth. But I hope everyone's finding themselves well. Now, I have 8 rooms linked to this podcast. I have the law offices of Vincent W. Davis and Associates, which is the law firm that produces this podcast. I also have Fight CPS, Real Talk with Mrs. G. Then I have Juvenile Dependency. And then I have Relatives Fight CPS. Then I have the reality series CPS, the horror stories. And then my room, Fight CPS with Bob Pace and Vincent Davis, who is the child protection top attorney, I feel, in the country. The secret how to fight CPS and win. And then we have a YouTube group called the CPS Defense Strategy Consultants. So you have found me there. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, I'm broadcasting from home. My studio is my home, and I'm in Surf City, USA. This is dinner time, and it's time for my family to eat. And my youngest son just got home from work, and so he and his mother are trying to eat their meal and enjoy it. So, what I am wanting you all to know that anything you guys want related to CPS, you can ask. Now, I want to say hello to Crystal Smith, who just came into the room. Thank you, Crystal Smith. Also, there are others of you in the room, and welcome you all. I welcome everybody, not only from the United States, but from around the world. I have 15 countries that have participated by texting comments in and so forth. So it's a worldwide podcast. CPS is a problem everywhere. It is a problem everywhere. And the sad part about it is that it's a necessity to have to protect your children, but it's been so abused lately by the CPS that over 600 people that I've talked to this past year have said that they lost their children and there was no danger. There's so many cases where CPS automatically takes the child. I know that for a fact. I too was attacked by CPS. Wrongly so. It's really a bad scenario. It's really a bad scenario. So I want you all to relax, take notes, and listen. You can also give me emojis, which are smiley faces, thumbs up, or hearts. Welcome, Cindy Blake. And then I also like you to follow me, my podcast, please check below. Also, you'll be notified when I'm live. Please check below. You can also send stars if you like the podcast. I'm here to help you. I'm here to listen. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a family man, and I've been married 42 years with two marriages, one for 10, the other one for 32. I have 6 children, 3 young children, 3 grown-up children. And so I've had lots of experiences there of raising children and helping others. So hopefully, I have 5 rules that can help you with your case. I wish I knew about them when I had my case. And I'll talk to them in depth. Rule 1 is have a dependency family juvenile attorney. Rule 2 is organize a notebook with all your paperwork and include a very important timeline log called the incident log, where you record everything that takes place. Rule 3 is you do not talk to social workers. You don't let social workers in your home. You don't answer the door. Also, you have to be careful of medical trafficking. And again, I'll talk about that in detail. Rule 4 is you do research on the internet about CPS. And there's certain ways you got to phrase your questions so you find the answers. But the internet is so full of help of your case. It is so full. And lastly, organize all your important documents of your children and your family into one folder. Things like birth certificates, driver's license, marriage license, your medical records, your school records of your children, and so forth. You just do all that. And again, I'll talk more about those 5 rules. Now, to interact with this podcast, the first way was, of course, in this room. And I'm glad you did. And that's all you have to do. But if you want to talk and maybe send a message to me, what you can do is that you can text a question or a comment, text a message, but it's got to be about CPS, something related to CPS. Please show your first name, your city or your county, and your state. And if you're from another country, it may be a province instead of a state. Don't forget to include the country that you are texting from. Try to be complete with your CPS case. What I mean by that is try to explain your family situation, whether you're like a husband, wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your lovers, or maybe your partnership. Also, what are the ages of the children, the sexes of children, and then what are the allegations besides neglect and abuse? More details would really be helpful. Also, are both parents involved? Are you a single parent fighting this alone? Are there multiple parents with different biological moms and dads? That would be helpful too. Then try to tell me, the details of neglect and abuse, and then also how your children were taken. Did you surrender to them? Did they take them? Did they have a warrant? Did you give them permission to take them? And so forth like that. And lastly, where you at on your case? So that's really great that you can text me comments, and I really welcome you all. I have several people in the room right now, and I'm really happy to see them in my room here because I want to help you. I've, firsthand have horrible experience with CPS, and I can relate everything that has happened to me. Now, third way is that you can be a guest on my podcast, and all you have to do is email me, uh, not email me, email my show producer, Grace, who works behind the scenes to make the show possible. And her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will put you on as a guest of my show. She will send you the link. All you have to do is pick my morning show or evening show, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day of the week. And she'll do that. She also will talk about what you can do on the podcast, like no smoking, no eating. Also, we don't use the names of children's or the names of judges or social workers. And so we really, want you to be a guest. And in fact, right now, if you are a guest on my podcast, after a guest, you'll be eligible for 15-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis. He is a real dependency family juvenile attorney. He's been fighting them for 35 years. He's a trial attorney. He also has done civil lawsuits and won millions of dollars. After your case is closed, he's done civil lawsuits, both the state and the federal level. So he's the real deal. He works out of Arcadia. He has cases in LA County, Orange County, San Bernardino County, and up north in California. He works in other states. Right now he's in Oklahoma, but he can practice anywhere. So, he's the real deal. But you can have a free 10-minute, a 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis, and he can go over how to fight CPS and get your child. Also, that phone number on my screen, the 888-888-6582, is in my office, law office. That's the number you would call them if you want to hire Mr. Davis or one of the other attorneys in other fields, like bankruptcy law or immigration law or workman's comp, or divorce or some type of criminal matter. And so you call that number, 888-888-6582, to reach my office. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And so that's what that number is there. Now, a fourth way that you can be on my podcast is to call in to my phone number, my office number. It's 626-698-0990. Now, that is broadcasting on Vonage. Vonage is a StreamYard application that they use. My phone is turned on, and I can receive calls during the show hours. If you call me before my show hours or after my show hours, I cannot take the call. So it is very good if you call, because I'll put you on speakerphone and we can talk about your case. Also, that will qualify you for a 15-minute private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis at no cost. So there's two ways you can talk to Mr. Davis for free. One is to be a guest on my podcast, and two is after you call in, you can be a 15-minute consultation. A third way is I have a special arrangement with them to offer you for 30 minutes of private consultation with Mr. Davis, a Zoom meeting. All you have to do is go to the website, https://candly, CALENDLY www.facebook.com/apps, APPTS, VWD/Bob Pace, as shown on the bottom of my screen. And you can get 30 minutes. It's $60 though. You can get 30 minutes for $60. So you can either do it for free by being a guest or calling in, or you can go to that website and get 30 minutes. Or you can call the number and retain them right away. The 888-888-6582. Now my number 626-698-0990 is waiting to take calls. So please call in if you want to talk. And I'll put you on speakerphone and I'll try my best to help you. Now, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. I have many topics open. I have 75 tabs open that could talk about all kinds of things like ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, or a 388 motion, or how to file appeal, or how to protest the director at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level, how you can complain to CPS, not only about the social workers, but also the judges and attorneys. So there's lots of information I have, and I usually get people that come into my room all the time. One of my regulars is Faye Manling from Richmond, Kentucky, and she comes in and helps me on my podcast. Now, she's a single mother, and unfortunately, as a small child and later as a teenager, she was in and out of foster care with the CPS system because her mother had done some illegal things. And so she was put into foster care where she was abused, molested, raped, tortured. I can go on and on, the horrible things that she did. But she somehow got a college, she got a high school diploma, and then she got a college degree as a registered nurse. Later, she wanted to have children, and unfortunately, because you're in foster care, the CPS would keep a record. They stole her daughter. She had two children, a young daughter that was taken from her at 3 months, and all because that they wanted her daughter because she was beautiful and stuff. She was told the ultimate that she could pick her other child, who was 15 at the time, who's a child that needed special needs child, a boy. And so she did stay with the boy and gave up her daughter, not free willing. That was wrong what they did to her. And she wants to have her daughter know that she, did not give up her daughter because she was forced to. The Child Protection Agency in Richmond, Kentucky is very corrupt, as well as the police. And so she's going through all kinds of things. Her son now is in his 20s, and she's trying to get guardianship of her special needs sons. She's also trying to establish contact with her daughter, who's 12 now, and she wants her daughter to know that she loves her. She doesn't want to take her back. She doesn't want to interrupt what she's in there, but she really wants her to know that she did not abandon her and that she loves her daughter. That's the saddest part. People have the saddest things. So hopefully Faye will come in. There's another person named Natalie from West Hollywood, and she's a single mom and has 3 children. And unfortunately, she was accused of mental issue problems, which weren't true. And they took her children right away and put them in foster care. And then she has fought, and she cleared her name. She wasn't she was mentally okay. But during that time, they took her child, and it was very unfortunate. Natalie from West Hollywood, but she comes in here to help on the show, and hopefully she will be in here. She is low income and having troubles with phone payments and stuff, so um, I'm going to try to see if she will come in to join us on this particular show. Um, um, I I have lots of things that we could talk about. I've contacted both Faye and Natalie to see if they come and join us. I was hoping some of the people this morning. There was a girl named Dee this morning that came on to tell them of the show that I wanted to help her. And so I'm here to help you all. I know enough about CPS. I've been doing it for 15 years. And what you have to understand that CPS is a government agency that I've found very corrupt, and all they want to do is make money. It's $1 trillion business, meaning they make trillions of dollars over keeping your children, trafficking into foster care, stealing your children, and also alienating your children, which are all against the law. You cannot steal or traffic a child. You cannot alienate a person either. That's against the law. But the child protection system does so. And just to tell you the kind of child protection social workers are, there's 8 of them that worked out of Prescott, Arizona in the Department of Children's Services, DCS. These 8 workers in Prescott, which is known for the Billy Jack movies, there's 4 of them made there in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was all about activism and about the American Indian movement. And so that's what's known for. But what's happened lately is words got in 2022, these 8 female social workers decided to buy pink t-shirts. Now, pink is a symbol of breast awareness. You have to be careful of your breast awareness there. And so, okay. Hold on 1 minute, please. I'm sorry, you all, for the interruptions. I'm trying my best to do this out of my home. And so I really want it to go smooth and so forth. So I'm talking about these social workers wearing pink t shirts. But what was bad about them is they had stenciled on the front professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they said, "Parents, do you know where your children are at? Parents, you know where your children are at." And with that being said, they they parade around at Walmart, Kmart, Costco, Best Buy, Sears, all the major department stores, and it sent a wrong message. It made parents feel sick to their stomach that that's the kind of attitude that social workers have. Professional child kidnappers. Not only that, they are um, uh, they ask the question, "Parents, you know where your children are," so they imply that they're in there to take children. They thought it was funny. They were caught. They were fired, as well as the director of CPS, and that was in 2022 in Prescott, Arizona. And it's sad. That's one example of many examples I have of your typical social worker. I've had 3 of them on the show here, and so far that's all I had, and they were good. There are good social workers. Yes, we do need CPS to protect our children. But what we don't need are people that prey on families, especially families that are having hard times, low income. Maybe they have a hiccup or two, and they're trying their best to take care of children. If you all want to really know how horrible things are, we just recently had a hurricane, couple hurricanes on the Gulf area that came up through the Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, then over to North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, that drenched the place and flooded, and homes were taken away. The other earthquake veered off across Florida. Florida's hit twice by the first hurricane and then the second one, but all the high tides and everything, all these homes were lost. Well, what CPS is doing now is that they are taking the children because the parents don't have a home for them, and it's sad because the parents, um, you know, are struggling, and also FEMA is not giving enough aid. I know that people are trying to give aid there and are being persecuted or prosecuted because they're trying to help. Even even President Trump tried to give aid, and he was told to turn back on it. So I'm telling you right now that CPS is so corrupt, so is some of the other government agencies. We really wonder why the government every time has a hard time making its budget. Why? Because there's no accountability in the money with CPS. That's trillions of dollars that goes over there. Another example in Richmond, Kentucky, is there's $1 million that's unaccounted for of financial aid that was given from the state of Kentucky to Richmond. Now they have investigated and caught one person with $400,000 of embezzlement, but there's still $600,000 still missing. So I'm telling you, right now, there isn't a board of directors or supervisors or anybody as a watchdog over CPS. They freely give their money from the federal government to the state, who in turn freely gives it to the county. And I know for a fact that my 3 younger children that were stolen from me or trafficked from me in foster care were getting over $20,000 per each per month. That's $60,000 a month that the Orange County CPS was getting. And that is wrong. It doesn't take that kind of money. That's abuse of money. Also, I've heard where there are bills that the government pays like $1,000 for a toilet seat because someone put in a claim that it would cost $1,000 for a toilet seat. There's so much lack of accountability of the CPS workers. There's like a rogue out there. They just do what they please. They don't care for you. They lie, they retaliate, and they will steal. That is your CPS workers. They lie, they steal, and they do not do what they're supposed to do. And we do need them. We do need our children protected, but we don't need to abuse the system and make money off it. And so hopefully you all can see that, because you've got to do, you've got to watch that. Now, I have several people in the room. I'd love for you all to either text me a question or a comment, or even call me on my office phone, and we can talk about your case and help you. I do like it's a lot better of interacting with my listeners than regurgitating the same things over and over again. Because I know it's important for you to know that, but a lot of you are regulars, and a lot of you are keeping me abreast of how your story's shaping up. But I know it's hard. I know it's gut wrenching. In my case, I unfortunately lost a job at the age of 60 in 2010. I'd worked 45 years, and I was no longer employed through no fault of my own. The company I worked for, the income that we were getting from the state of California was halted, so that they could take care of things that they're going to go bankrupt. I had construction projects that were public awarded to me, and they had to write me IOUs. And my company keep going. People need to put food on the table, so the employees had to go to other companies. Myself, it was really sad because at that age, it's hard to find anything else. I have found some work on and off, but I'm still right now looking for a job in my field in civil engineering. And so I'm telling you all that I know what it is to be broke. When I lost my job, I had a hefty mortgage payment. I lived in a very well to do home close to the beach, a mile from the beach, and it was a private neighborhood. And my home was fairly new. I had to sell my home to hire an attorney because I needed some quick cash. So I quick sell my home at half the value. It was less than $1 million that I sold my home. And so it was worth twice that much money. But I had to quick sell it. So I had the money and I did hire an attorney. Now, my rule number one is says you need to hire an attorney. I thought I could use the court appointed attorney. She was not knowledgeable. She did not know about dependency law. All she knew about was criminal law. Also, she was wheeling and dealing. She had a caseload of 30 or more clients, so she didn't have time for my case. So I could see the writing on the wall. I was screwed. I was wrongly accused. My wife and I were wrongly accused of our children, and it was really wrong. And what happened started out the first 5 years is that a layperson, a family member, my wife's mother and father, or my in-laws, and her three sisters and brothers would call in once a week from Ohio to California and say we were not taking care of the children, not feeding them, not clothing them, not taking them to school, not meeting their medical needs and everything else. And every year for 5 years, and every week, I would meet with a social worker and tell them that wasn't the case, and show them my bills, show them my kids' grades reports, showed them everything to dispute what they were saying. Well, after 5 years, they got tired of this and they thought they'd get a policeman involved. So they contact the local police and then they send a detective to track me down. He found out my pattern, contacted me, and insisted I come to my home to open it up. Now, I did not know about you have to have a warrant. I did not know that you don't have to show them your home. I was very ignorant about the laws. You don't have to let them in your home, and you certainly don't have to talk to them unless you have a warrant that says you do. And so I learned a valuable lesson. Also, you want to have an attorney represent you. If you have an attorney, you can tell them, I'll get back to you since it's a legal matter. My attorney and I will meet with you and talk to you. Don't suggest meeting at your home or at their agency. Meet someplace like Starbucks or McDonald's. I'm not trying someplace where you have a table you can sit and talk. Because I'm telling you, they will lie. They will bring you up and then let you down. They will really do that. They really are that mean to you in there. So um, anyway, my case got worse and worse after 5 years because the policemen they came to my home and they were searching. They couldn't find anything wrong with me or my home, and they'd been in my home before. But unfortunately, my dad had passed away, and then my mom was slowly following him. And they had all their belongings of 55 years of marriage, and they had a pretty big home, a 4,000 square foot home. So I had all these things in my living room that were stacked up, piled high, and they said that that is neglect. They said that that can hurt children. Now, my children were ages 9, 12, and 15, the three younger ones. And the boxes were not higher than them. The furniture wasn't higher than them. Boxes do not fly. Furniture does not walk. so they couldn't attack them in their bedrooms. Their bedrooms were fine. They were not in danger. They actually took them out of school and put them in danger. The day they came to investigate my home, they said they're going to put my kids, and I didn't know anything. I was really naive, and I wish I knew what I knew today because I could have stopped it. I could have said, wait a second, I'm not opening up this home unless you get a warrant. My attorney is coming, and you're going to speak to my attorney. So that's why my rule number one says you need to get an attorney, and a court-appointed attorney isn't what you need. They do nothing but criminal law. They don't do dependency law. They won't fight for your case because they have a caseload of 30 more clients. They don't have time. They're going to very quietly do what the social workers ask, and then they're going to have you go through all kinds of horrible things, even though you're innocent. And they will not help you get your children back. Your visits that were normally seeing them will become supervised visits and then no visits at all. They do that. They break you down. They are cruelty. I don't know if, that is wrong what they do. It really hurts. It really hurts. Anyway, I'm telling you, the way they report the incidents has got to change. We have two ways that incidents are reported. One by professional people that are like your doctors and nurses and school teachers and principals and counselors and caregivers. They get trained in reporting child abuse and child neglect. They know what it is. So most of the time, they're pretty right on. It's the lay people that use CPS events, like a mother doesn't like her daughter, so she'll call into CPS and badmouth her daughter. Then CPS makes a big story about it and takes away her kids. Or a neighbor doesn't like the way your yard is encroaching his, or the dog is too noisy. So he'll call CPS and make accusations that are not true. And so it's so sad that lay people would do that. But they use CPS to cause havoc in your life. I'm telling you, it's really, 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 really bad. I was hoping we would get some people in my room, but it's Sunday night and people are probably getting tired. Long day, and I can understand that. But I really want to talk about what you all need help on. And I'm only guessing you. I'm relating my story so you don't make this bad mistakes. I didn't get an attorney at first. I used a court-appointed attorney, and she did not fight for my case. It got worse and worse and worse until I realized I needed an attorney. And I hired Mr. Davis and got a real attorney, and he got my boys back, but I lost my daughter. And how I lost my daughter is very tragic. The social worker was very young, didn't have a college degree, didn't have a high school degree, didn't have no mentoring, and just had done CPS from the go in her early 20s. All she talked about was her Gucci purse, her eyelashes, her makeup, her jewelry, her furniture, her clothes, and her car, and so forth. That she was getting these bonuses and incentives off us. That's wrong. CPS should not be making money off us. We're in terrible need. We need help. We need help. What you want to do is you don't want to sign anything or talk to them to first you talk to a real attorney. I cannot emphasize the importance of a real attorney. Now, the second thing that I learned was organize my paperwork. I was bad about that. I couldn't remember. I never kept a timeline of incidents. I never kept my paperwork, anything organization. It was all in post-it notes and envelopes and scratch piece of paper, my phone, my day runner. It was all over the place. And you need to get a notebook, an 8.5 by 11 notebook, and organize it with tabs. And one of the important ones is called your incident log, your incident timeline of all the events that have happened, whether you talk to police or a social worker or a parent or children, whoever you talk to, if it was an incident, you write down the first line, the date, the time, the location, and then the people involved. The second line, you write down a summary of what the incident was about. The third line is you write the summary of how the incident was settled. If you don't know it, you leave it blank so you come back later to fill it out. And this gets repeated over and over and over. So suddenly you'll have pages and pages of incidents. And you'll know by looking back what it was because you'll have your notes there. So that rule number 2 is having a notebook. Now, my case was so bad that they had to have 5 firemen, 3 social workers, 2 code enforcement officers, 2 uniformed policemen, and the detective, all in my house going through it, trying to find something wrong, measuring my smoke alarm, making sure I had locks on the back door of the pool, make sure the pool enclosure was secured, all those kinds of things. All the code enforcement found was a loosened nut and bolt on the front gate that could easily be fixed. Also, they said you need to do um, more landscaping because your green waste needs trimming. And I told them I don't afford a landscaper. So that's all they found. The firemen found nothing. They measured everything, tested the smoke alarms, saw the fire extinguishers. They couldn't find anything. The social workers were the ones that came up with the idea that having the boxes, your neglect with your children, your wife first. So they charged me. And that was a sad thing that they did. They wrongfully charged me. And not only that, the detective did too. He wrote his report to the district attorney, who in turn, and like a fool, I talked too much. And that was a mistake. You don't want to say stuff to them. You want to keep quiet. I thought being honest with them, they'd be honest with me, but they didn't. They wanted to take her children to make money. And it's a lot of money. If you had 100 families with 3 children each, that's 300 children. That's $6 million a month they'd collect in money. $6 million for 300 children. So my case got worse and worse as it progressed on. Um, I should have never let them in my home. My rule number 3 is you don't answer the door. Too many people have been shot lately. A black lady, was shot in the face and killed on the spot. A black airman was shot point blank in the chest, and he died talking on FaceTime. 23 years old. And that is sad. So, and then there was a Korean lady that was shot by 2 policemen when she opened the door. So the rule should be never open the door to strangers. If you don't know the front door, don't open it. You don't have to. They only will come in there with one of 3 ways. 1, you gave them permission, or someone in the house gave them permission. 2, there's imminent danger with the children involved. Or 3, they have a court warrant where they went to a judge, they got a legal piece of paper signed by the judge and then stamped by the court clerk so that the signature raises so they can't forge the signature. So that's the only way they get in your home. And like a fool, I let them in my home, I talk to them. You don't want to talk to them. If you happen to see them, you're outside, an easy way to say to them is that I need to contact my attorney. You may not have one, but you can say that. And then that way will give you some time. And you say that you need to get their name and phone number, get back to them, but you need to be represented by your attorney through all legal proceedings. And so that's how you can do that. And you can get some time to get that together with getting an attorney. But my case got really bad. Fighting CPS is like you're Alice in Wonderland. You followed in the rabbit hole in the backyard and you met the Chester cat who steers you from one room to the next room, going nowhere. Going nowhere. That's how corrupt and how bad the Child Protection Services office. They don't have someone who's properly qualified or trained. They don't fulfill their obligation of having you reinstated, and it is a horrible, horrible experience that you have to go through. We got some people in the room, and I want to thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth Salazar. Welcome to my podcast. Um, I don't know where you're from. If you could give me a location, your city or county, or your state, or if you're from a country, your province and your country. But welcome. And if you have a question, you can text in your question or comment about CPS to me. You can also call in at 626 698 0990 and you can talk to me. I'd love to talk to any of you right now. So, welcome, Elizabeth Salazar. Hi, I have a court hearing tomorrow at 10 a.m. Boy, that's short notice. Let me try to help you. Is this your first court hearing? Is this your first court hearing? Okay. It's a rehearing. Okay. What is the hearing about? They took my newborn and a 2-year-old. So, by a lying CPS worker, I'll believe that. I believe that they lie. So, was this the dependency hearing or this a 6-month review hearing? I'm trying to understand there. Hello, Luca. Um, you're from Alberta, Canada. Well, welcome, Alberta, Canada. I think what you're doing is amazing. Please keep going. Parents are desperate for information. Well, thank you, Luca. Thank you very much. And welcome from Alberta, Canada. Now, Elizabeth Salazar says, I gave birth at a hospital and they called CPS. So you must have been tested with drugs. They would have to have a warrant. Oh, that's sad, Luca. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Luca had one there. Elizabeth, for refusing vaccines, no drugs. Okay, you have a right as a parent to see your own pediatrician and stuff. That hospital is wrong for refusing vaccine because you can get a second opinion. And that is so sad that they took your child, your newborn. And that's wrong what they do, by the way. They still had to have a warrant to take your child. They had to have a court order warrant. And I'm glad it wasn't with drugs. Okay, we got some activity in the room, and thank you all. We have about 10 minutes left of my podcast, and I'm here helping out Elizabeth and Luca from Canada. And Elizabeth is from, I still don't know where you're from, Elizabeth. What city or county or state or province or country you're from. She has a court hearing tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I really want to help you, Elizabeth. Well, there are bad judges. The judges are appointed. The judges are elected. And usually a lot of the judges are bad because they're in cahoots with the child protection services. Now, Elizabeth, I agree. They claim mentally unstable for also not letting them taking my baby from me while she was breastfeeding. Well, that's wrong because again, did they have a court order, a warrant to do that? Okay, she's from Banning, California. Okay. Also, yeah, from the USA. Welcome, Elizabeth from Banning, California. And they always try to claim mentally unstable because they're not even a clinical psychiatrist. They think they can do that. You got to be very careful on not talking to them. You need representation, though. You need a bona fide attorney that is the backfield of dependency, family, juvenile law. That's who you need there. So, Luca, I understand that the judges seem to be very corrupt or friends of the court. You have to understand the judges work for the child protection system. The social worker attorneys work for the child protection system. The social workers work for it. If your children are involved, they'll have a court appointed attorney. And if there are two parents, they'll each have a court appointed attorney. All these court appointed attorneys are palsy wowsy. That's why you need a real attorney. And that's why I suggest that you talk to Vincent Davis. He'll give you 15 minutes free if you call in or you be a guest on my show. And if you want to talk to him for 30 minutes, he only charges you $60. But you have to go to websites that's being advertised below of my ticket line. So, you need to talk to him. You may not need to retain him, and maybe he's too much. But you're going to need somebody there because the court-appointed attorneys are so busy, they don't have time with your case. And they are not going to fight for your case. They're only criminal attorneys. They're not a dependency law attorney. They're not that at all. So I know that you're going to have a hearing. Now, if you use your court appointed attorney, you cannot speak in court. That's one of the other things they hope you do because they don't want you speaking. It's either pro se. You can get rid of your court appointed attorney and then you can speak to the judge if you don't like the way the court appointed attorney is handling your case. You don't have to have an attorney to represent yourself, but it's very important you do. And so what you can do is you can tell the court if you want to get that attorney that you need a continuance of your case and ask for 90-day continuance. They don't give you 90, ask for 60 days, and don't give you 60, ask for 30 days. And you get a continuance so you can get a real attorney aboard to help you. Yeah, the court appointed attorney is a waste of time. Yep, most people do have to fire the court appointed attorney. I agree with you, Luca. They do have to fire the court appointed attorney. We have Luca from Canada, and we have Elizabeth from California, and they both have similar cases. And Elizabeth's child was taken away when she was breastfeeding. So, what specific question do you have for me, Elizabeth, that can help you? Also, Luca, what is the question that you may have that I can help you with. Now, what is a special commons booking? Well, that's something I'm going to have to look that up here. I'm going to try to look up what that is. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find that, Luca. Um, well, I'm having trouble here locating um, that special chambers booking. Well, I was looking at the wrong one. You meant a commons booking here. Um, what is a TGO trial? Terminate your rights? No, TGO. I don't know what that is. Uh, how do I subpoena a specific doctor who the CPS worker claims made false reports and was actually never involved in my care? She only discharges my baby and saw her twice for minutes or so. Well, Elizabeth, to order to subpoena somebody, if you're working with the attorney and you're working with your court appointed attorney, you need your court appointed attorney to subpoena that doctor. All you need is their name, their address, and their phone number, and then a subpoena can be served on that doctor. And again, it's your attorney that does that work. If you don't have an attorney, you're doing this pro se, then you're going to have to go to the law library and look up how to subpoena a witness in a CPS case. Yeah, sure, Luca. If you want to call, I'm pretty sure Canada is no charge. It's local, so you can call me there. Here, let me see what happens here with Elizabeth. Oh boy, we're running out of time here. It's now been 1 hour since I've been on. I'm already gone late on my show. Elizabeth says the lies are outrageous and never happened and are on the report she made. She also claimed to have witnessed domestic violence and my son crawled underneath a chair with his hands covering his ears. Temporary guardianship order. You guys, I don't like doing this, but I've reached my time. I've gone for 1 hour. I did start late tonight, and I've already gone over my time, so I can't go any further. So, can you all come again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time? That's 10 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And good luck with your case there, Elizabeth. I don't know if you're using a court appointed attorney, but if you are, you got to be really careful and make them demand them to do what you ask. If I was you, I'd ask for a continuance of your case tomorrow morning and get yourself a real attorney. And Luca, talk to me again tomorrow. All right. Thank you, Luca from Canada, and thank you, Elizabeth from California. I appreciate your comments. I want to pray for you, and hopefully you will keep fighting, get your children back. So, oh, hello there, who? You came in after my showtime. Can I reverse adoption and relinquish my rights? It's very hard, but there's always a way you can. You have to get an attorney to do that. I want to thank you all. God bless you all, and keep fighting CPS. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific time. This is Bob Pace. Wishing you a good night, and I'm signing